Hello and welcome. Today on The Wise Woman's Journey, I am speaking to Siddiqi Ray. Siddiqi is an internationally acclaimed intuitive photographer. She captures soulful images that astonish, entertain, and move us. Her vision and talent have earned her opportunities to work with Forbes 100 corporations, Time Magazine, the Associated Press, Mayo Clinic, Target, and Macy's, as well as many global business leaders from Tibet to Australia and the United States. Among the luminaries she's been hired to photograph include His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the Kennedy family, Nelson Mandela, and the Navy SEALs in an underwater series. Before her photography career, Siddiqi had a profound personal journey out of addiction and depression, as well as overcoming a life-threatening illness before emerging to become a well-known fitness expert, a coach to community and industry leaders, and a groundbreaking visibility expert. She truly knows what it means to struggle, to overcome adversity, and to embody resilience in her fully expressed, thriving, passionate, and joyful life. Siddiqi uses this experience and her decades of intuitive trained abilities to help her clients overcome their self-limiting fears and inhibitions, holding them back from fully expressed photographs that will empower their success in life and in business. And today, Siddiqi and I are going to be talking about visibility, which Siddiqi describes as the wound killing women's dreams. So I would love to hear more about your approach on this, Siddiqi, and why you see it as killing women's dreams.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this. I think it's really profound what you're doing, and I just love your beautiful presence and energy, Catherine. So thank you for having me here. The reason, first of all, I want to define visibility because I'm seeing on social media visibility is this trendy tactic that people are using to kind of, get more people into their marketing funnel, which of course I totally understand and agree with on some level. But the visibility that I'm talking about is really an internal visibility unto ourselves, wherein we get aligned with ourselves and we are congruent with who we are really meant to be. And then we offer that to the world by showing up for, Facebook Lives, by showing up on the platforms where our ideal prospects are swimming. And we show up from a place of integrity and authenticity. And we speak up, we speak out, and we show ourselves to the world so that the people that we're meant to serve can really connect with us. So that is how I am defining visibility. I work specifically with women on the visibility wound so that they can get out of their own way and, be seen and be heard so that the people that they are meant to serve can find them. Why is it killing the dream that we have? Catherine, at the end of the day, I really believe that wise women such as yourself and the tribe that you speak to, the tribe that you are part of, the tribe that you are a leader of, they are holding back their gifts, their talents, their skills, their wisdom, their knowledge because of this fear of putting themselves out there and all of the innate wounding that we have as women in society, and also the internal wounding that we have. And the end result of that, and I know this is a long-winded answer, but the end result of that, Catherine, is that we are not making the soulful impact. We are not sharing the truth of who we are in areas of our life where it matters the most. And so it's not only hurting the people that we could serve, but it's hurting us because we're not fully expressed.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm thinking as you're talking about my own journey with this, and it's like, I wouldn't have actually at the beginning thought of, the problem is that I have a visibility wound. But I was aware that I was uncomfortable with being visible, or I'm certainly uncomfortable with speaking, but I was using excuses like I'm not ready yet, or I'm too old, or it's too late. So I'm wondering whether you experience that with the women that you work with. Is it that they come to you with these, do they already know they've got a visibility wound, or do they come to you differently and use these excuses, and then you have to work with their visibility wound via their excuses. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I think the evidence of the visibility wound shows up when you know that you need to be online. You know you need to market yourself, especially in the current climate of most of the world really is on lockdown. And if you have a business, there's really no alternative except for to market yourself online. And I really think that because of what's going on in the world now, it's going to permanently change the paradigm about how we do business. Because people that used to do things face to face, or as my women say, more organically, I work better face to face, I don't like this Zoom thing. It's like, well, ladies, I'm sorry, but no matter what our age is, if we have a mission in the world, we're going to have to bring it online. And so the evidence of the visibility wound is what shows up first. And we don't even know what's driving us. Most wounding is, as you know, because you're someone that has done a lot of work on your own wounding and has really evolved past it, hence your ability to have this forum and these conversations. The evidence of it is, I'm not ready, I'm waiting to feel ready. These are the myths. This is what I call visibility myths. I'll do it when I lose some weight. Nobody wants to hear from me anyway. I don't know what I would say. I'm not ready yet. And what if nobody shows up, and what if nobody cares, right? So it speaks to, we see the evidence of the problem without really knowing what the problem is. We know we're stuck. We know that we are holding on to the go live button on Facebook, and we're like, oh my God, wait, I just need to do my hair again. You know, it's like, that's how it shows up, in this hesitancy, in this block around doing the very thing that we know is necessary to connect with the people that we're meant to serve. So it shows up as evidence rather as the wound itself. Most people are not aware that it's driving them. They just know that they're blocked. They know that they're stuck. They know that they're terrified of doing something like a Facebook Live, and they're really holding themselves back without really being aware of it.
Mm. Thank you. I know you take these absolutely amazing photographs of people, which you call soul portraits. And sadly, you're on the other side of the world, or else I would have been in your studio. So I'm wondering, did you get into the visibility work through the photography, or did you have, like, you know, a story around it yourself that took you down that route?
Both. Which do you want to hear about?
We might have time for both.
Okay, I'll be really brief. You know, I spent my career behind the camera looking deeply at other people. And there was a moment when I was photographing the Dalai Lama for Time magazine when he actually literally asked me to put the camera down. And I felt really exposed and really vulnerable. And it was kind of like my biggest nightmare of, I'm supposed to be this competent photographer seeing you, and now you want to see me. But that moment changed the trajectory of my life, because in that one moment of feeling really exposed, like excruciatingly vulnerable, I realized that the Dalai Lama was just neutral. He wasn't reacting to me at all or responding. He was just being with me. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I realized that what I had always really wanted was just to be seen, to be known, to be accepted. And that was a baseline that I never felt like I had reached. And I didn't even know that that was my deepest craving. And so that sent me on this trajectory of the soul portrait, wherein in that moment with the Dalai Lama, and, you know, 13 moments later of photographing him all over the world, and again and again and again, having this same interaction with him, I felt that I got this transmission, which was the ability to hold that presence and really see into the souls of other beings and call out their essential, that what I call their soul DNA. Like I literally get an image of who the person really is at a soul and cellular level. I describe it to the person, and what happens is the person comes into immediate alignment and congruence with themselves, and that's when I take the image. So for me, it's been a calling to come out from behind the camera and to share more of my own, you know, woo-woo experiences with the world by just being more of me and not hiding out behind this instrument or this profession.
Mm. I like what you're saying. I mean, I think we all crave to be seen, don't we? And and that's not about somebody sort of saying, you know, I like your dress or like your hair or something. I mean, it's nice to have those compliments, but it's rare to really be seen and understood in that way. So it's such a gift if you can capture that in a photograph and that people really feel that they've been seen at a very fundamental level. It's sort of such a gift.
Yeah, what I find with the soul portraits and how it bridged into visibility work is that what we really want at a fundamental level is we want to feel safe to be seen, because without safety, you will not bring those vulnerable, tender parts of yourself to be seen. And what happened, Catherine, is yes, I'm not doing soul portraits because of COVID, but I started to realize that there was a much deeper block going on, because I would give women these beautiful marketing images. I would give them the recording of this amazing moment of clarity and revelation where they would really feel transformed. And I would give them those tools to put themselves out in the world, and then they wouldn't do it. And I was like, oh my God, you have this awesome marketing headshot. Why are you not updating your Facebook profile photo? Why are you using, one woman was literally using a stick figure that she drew as her Facebook profile picture. Another woman had a picture of herself that was like 20 years old. And she said, if I put out this version of myself with silver hair, I won't get work. I won't get jobs. People will discriminate against me. At which point you get enough. I would go into deep meditation and be like, what is my part in these people not using their photos? Like, what am I missing? And it actually took COVID for me to be like, oh, I'm missing the piece of this visibility wound goes so deep that we don't even know that it's running us, it's controlling us. And so that's when I realized and really got a download around helping, women that are 50 plus, that are technology challenged, that this is not our native language of, being online, helping us overcome our own internal blocks, so that we can be seen. And I realized the photograph was just a tool. Facebook Lives and interviews are just a tool. But when you pick up the tool, you realize how out of shape you are with it. And I know now that visibility is not a destination for our businesses, it's a practice.
Mm. Mm. And you help people in quite a few different ways, don't you? Because I know I'm a member of your Facebook group, and then you have, other offers on your website. And I know because we spoke and I did your quiz that was on your website, and was really interested in the archetype that came out as, which was the lover. And actually that information was really helpful to me.
How is it helpful?
More about the archetypes, maybe. How is it helpful? Well, it just reflected some things back to me about really some of the fundamental things that are driving me, and yeah, I think that would be the main.
Yeah, in my Visibility Foundations class that's starting on January 21st, like a month from now, we start with the visibility wound, and we start with the archetypes. So there's 4 archetypes. It's the queen, the lover, the alchemist, and the sage. And each of those archetypes has a different calling for how you're meant to be visible. So the queen, her visibility is about creating this realm that she rules in, and people come into her realm and experience her power and are influenced. Like, she's really an influencer. The lover is about intimacy and connection, and really, going deep with people like you are in this interview series. The alchemist is about revealing one's magic in how you are visible. So for instance, a lot of my alchemists are healers, and they don't want to seem woo woo, or as one of my clients said yesterday, I don't want to be witchy. But the alchemists have this special goal, this special gift that they need to bring to the world in order to affect change. And so part of their visibility is coming out of the closet as a healer, as a psychic, as an intuitive, as an astrologer, as whatever, but not holding their magic back. And then the sages, which is what I am, we're like Yoda. We're not for everybody. Like, I don't need to work with everybody. I need to work with a select amount of people that are in Jedi training around using their force, using their energy as a force for change in the world. And so my visibility isn't about visibility to everybody. It's about visibility to the people that are ready to go through that really intense training to get aligned with their power, so that whatever their archetype is, that's the place they're working from in the world. The other side, and that's that kind of why be visible, is because your archetype has this superpower that wants to be expressed. But I think equally powerful is the exploration of the dark side of the archetypes. So for the queen, she has a deep fear of being found out as a fraud or the imposter syndrome. And so she's showing up from this false egoic power, which is really probably backfiring on her. The lover is showing up as the chameleon, always shape-shifting and changing, like, who do I need to be for you to love me, right? The perfectionist is the expression of the alchemist who's trying to get it perfect. Like, I'm trying to get it perfect. I'm trying to get this formula perfect. And she's the one that will run to all different coaches and certification programs trying to get, the formula perfect so that people will accept her magic. And then the sage has a very strong inner voice that shows up as the judge, that criticizes her wisdom, criticizes her mojo, her force, and says, oh, you don't want to show that to the world. That's like going to the dark side. So we really explore in Visibility Foundations the power and the protection that even the shadow side gives us, and how to reorient our relationship with these parts of ourselves so that when we are visible, it's very purposeful.
Mm. And do you run that training on regular occasions? Because these are pre-recorded. So January,
yeah,
it'll be like the spring.
January 21st, every 4 months. So it's a 3-month cycle. It's a 3-month class. So every 4 months. Yeah.
Okay. So the one after that would be January, May.
Correct.
So people who are watching this could sign up in May.
Yes, they could.
They could, yes. Yeah, I love that about the archetype. So it's one of the things, because I'm the lover archetype, and the bit about the chameleon, actually, when I read that, really made me laugh, because, when I was younger, like, teenager in my 20s, I often used to think that was, when I was sort of thinking about myself and being curious about myself, I used to think about myself as a chameleon. I seem to I used to think people saw me as a chameleon, because lots of people seem to reflect back to me very different things about myself, and I was seen very differently in different situations. So that was the conclusion I came to, is that I must be a chameleon.
Well, it's so interesting how, so first of all, this Visibility Archetype quiz is free, and you can access it on my website, and it's my free gift to everybody, because I spent years kind of downloading and channeling those archetypes. And it's also based on, I know you and I are aware of Jeffrey Van Dyke's work around tribal marketing. And so I'm certified in tribal marketing, and I have done almost 100 of the life PhD sessions where we dig into the wounding. And that's how I really bumped up against my own visibility wound. And I started to hear it again and again and again in my VIP clients that would come to me for a soul portrait and visibility coaching. And so all of the languaging of the archetypes is literally a spreadsheet I have of, like, an anonymous spreadsheet of the languaging that my clients have used to describe their situations. And so that's how I know it's accurate, because I heard dozens of women call themselves chameleons. Dozens of women and men say, I'm afraid of being found out as a fraud. the majority of the people that have gone through this process with me are self-proclaimed perfectionists. And so it was easy to create these archetypes based on the evidence. So it's really an evidence-based, quiz. And then my question to myself was, what does the lover need to transform her fear so that she can either be okay with being a chameleon, use it to her advantage, understand it better, but how can I mentor the lovers, the queens, the alchemists, the sages into the fullest version and the fullest expression of themselves without having the chameleon or the shadow sides hold us back, but maybe they have gifts for us.
Yeah. Oh, it's so interesting. I wasn't aware that of how you come up with those types, but I thought for me the lover was absolutely spot on. So I'm sure other people will find that they are the same for their archetype too. So I'd just like to ask one last question, because we're talking about the wise woman's journey. So I'd like to ask you a general question, in your opinion, of like what makes a woman a wise woman?
What makes women a wise woman? A woman.
Or how does she become a wise woman? Because I'm thinking.
Yeah. My experience for myself and of witnessing, having the privilege and the honor of witnessing many women and assisting them as a mentor in their journey, is when we really own our wounding, when we own the gifts of the wound, and we then become ready, willing, and able to share those gifts with the world. That's when our wisdom comes into fruition, comes into its full potency. And many women say, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to share my gifts. I'm not ready to be visible. And what I'm hearing in that, the subtext of that is, I don't believe in this. This literally makes me cry because I see this all the time, Catherine. I'm not ready to share my gift with the world because I don't think that anybody will value it. And if that's you, I want to lovingly say to you, you will never know the value and the power of your wisdom unless you share it. You're not going to get that evidence sitting by yourself, doing whatever it is you're doing, avoiding the truth, which is you have this wisdom and the world needs it. That is one of the most fundamental truths of the people I work with is you have wisdom, a lifetime of experience. You've probably spent a lot of money on coaching and certification and education, and you are not helping yourself or anyone else by not sharing that wisdom with the world. And you can tell I'm so emotional about it because I bump up against this wound again and again of I'm not ready. And so the deep question I have to ask myself is this a reflection for me that I need to explore? Like, in what ways am I not ready? In what ways do I not hold? Do I not really show up? In what ways am I holding myself back? And this whole year has been about looking at that heartbreaking reality and then saying, okay, now what am I going to do about it? And what I do about it, Catherine, is what I espouse to be the answer for all of us, which is I show up anyway. I show up and I offer it anyway, not knowing if it will be valued or accepted, but knowing that it's this innate desire to be of service, and to just do it imperfectly. I hope that answered your question, but that is the call for us wise women.
A really brilliant answer. I loved it. And certainly, as I've said to you, I've been taking that journey from a few years ago of thinking I'm not ready yet to just doing it, basically, as you say, just showing up. And it's not always been an easy journey. It's not an easy journey, but as you say, it has to come, the commitment comes from that desire to be of service, that desire to offer your gifts. And I think certainly for women who are sort of we're all on the journey of aging, but I think for many, we do start to think, am I getting too old or is it too late? And And it's about, if that desire is there, to trust that and to keep offering from that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about one of my clients, and I'll make this really brief. Kamala Murphy, who you know, who did a soul portrait with me and then did the visibility work. And I always say the thing that blocks your path is your path. So if you're worried about your age and your wisdom, that's exactly what you should speak into, which is exactly what she did. She started, a Facebook live series where she was sharing that truth and that vulnerability and that discussion around aging. And it's the thing that put her on the map. So the very thing that you're trying to avoid is the thing that will unlock and unleash your superpowers.
Thank you. Thank you. So could you please, again, tell the audience, I know you've already mentioned the free gift that you have, maybe say a bit more about that, and also how they can get hold of you, and we will publish that too.
Thank you. The free gift is the insights that you will get from taking the visibility quiz. You will find out what your archetype is, what the calling is, and also really we're going to pinpoint for you what's holding you back. And so I've had hundreds of women go through that and email me and be like, oh my God, this is so spot on. And then the other invitation is to join the Women in Business Getting Visible Together Facebook group, where we really explore what it means to feel safe being seen with each other. And it's a very small, intimate, interactive group. And so anyone that nominates themselves is welcome to come to Women in Business Getting Visible Together. And there's all sorts of people that I interview, such as yourself, that bring resources into that group. So it's not just a one-way conversation. It's we're getting resourceful and we're getting visible together.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Siddiqi. Those links will be with the video for the audience to connect and receive the gift. So
thank you
very much for your time today.
Thank you.